In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to download the XAMPP server. And then once it's downloaded, I'm going to demonstrate how to actually go about doing some minor configurations to the server. It's a pretty straightforward process, but I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay, so let's go ahead and search for XAMPP server on Google. And typically we'll go to Apache Friends to download it, which is right here, the first link that it shows. You can also download it from SourceForge if need be. Either way, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's go to Apache Friends, download XAMPP, and it takes you directly to the download page. And depending upon your operating system, you can download it for Windows, for Mac, or Linux, and so on. Okay, so it's your own choice. The current version is PHP 5.5.30 for Windows, and you can either use the 32-bit version to download the entire file. Once it's downloaded, you can install the XAMPP server. So again, just click on download and it will download the file for you. Now once it's downloaded, using the installer, just install it just like a normal software. And once it's installed, you'll see the control panel. Okay, so for instance, since the XAMPP is running on my machine here, so if I click on it and bring up my control panel, and this is what it's going to look like. So the two services that you need to configure your local host or you configure your machine as your web server is the Apache server and then the MySQL. The ports must also be configured. By default, your browser uses port 80, so make sure you change these port numbers. And you can simply go to config, for example, and then go to your Apache httpd.config file, for instance. Let me expand that and scroll down, and I'm going to demonstrate and show you where to actually do it. Okay, so here it is. So this is where you change the port. For instance, I'm using port 8015, and you simply change the port here to say 8015, and you scroll down. The next setting that you're going to change is your virtual port, which is right here. So you're going to change your server name, localhost, also to any port number. So these two settings you must change before you actually have your XAMPP server up and running. So the objective is to change your ports in the HTTPD file. Once that's done, you do the same thing for the SSL file for Apache. And for your SSL, change your SSL port to listen to any other port. So by default, this is 443, but I changed it to 10443. Okay, so right here you can see. So these simple configurations is done. If I scroll down within the SSL, for example, anywhere that it says 443, it's going to change to 10443. So in this instance, my virtual host is also changed to 10443. So a couple of settings here you can change, and a couple of settings I showed earlier, and your Apache will be up and running. The configuration option within the control panel, you can set up the default editor if you need to edit these files. And of course, if you go to service and port settings, you must also make sure that your ports are your new port numbers that you just assigned when you configured your XAMPP server. So these are the quick rundown on the settings of the XAMPP. Once you configure these settings, you should be able to run these services for XAMPP. And once your XAMPP is installed, all you have to do is just browse to your local host, for instance, and it will bring you to your home page. If I click enter, for example, it brings up to the local host that you have. Let me also show you, in fact, what we will achieve moving forward in this course. So I have here a site that I'm going to show you on my local server called the Redstone Shop. So here's the finished site that we're going to see, and we'll create everything from scratch, okay, in this crash course. So I have my men categories, my women, boys, and girls, and we are connected to a live database for all these categories and products, okay? So for example, if I scroll down, here are my products. If I click on the details of Levi's jeans, a pop-up comes up, shows me the quantity, size, details, and so forth. So this entire site first will create manually using all code. There's no drag and drop, it's all code. And then eventually connect to our database, and then use the database to connect to our product. So just wanted to quickly show you how to install the local server. And once you have it, notice it'll say port 8015. So hope this helps. Let's move to the next lesson.